Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I am Dustin. We are looking at AMD once again. And the unfortunate thing that I can say right now is this looks like a sell. I mean, as surprising as it is to me, even as I'm looking at this stock, understanding what I just did in the other video around NVIDIA, which go watch that video, is a great breakdown of that stock. But AMD doesn't even look remotely close. It's interesting because the price, if you can see over the past few weeks here, since it looks like the 9th or so, actually even before that, but I'll use the 9th. You can see we have more like of the lettering with a black or blue background or blue lettering. When you have the blue background, that is 2 standard deviations below its 23-day average. When you have blue lettering with a white background, that's 23 days below your, or 3 standard deviations below your 23-day average. That's not great. And you can see they've been kind of bunching up recently. We've got another one, and each time that we get that blue lettering, it is at a lower price, which is just super unfortunate. And you're actually getting further and further away from the individual average. You can see the volatility is starting to rise, which is not good. I do not like that the price is falling while the volatility is rising. That's not good. Generally, that's not the type of move you want to see because those are very coordinated. That's actually a really good setup if you're short. Is that volatility rising? People don't like high vol. High vol is bad, 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 bad. You're looking at the 1 day, 5 day, 15 day, 1 month, and 3 month are all rolling negative. Recently, we just got that 3 month rolling negative on the 17th and 18th. Super concerning. We look at these signals here. We're go short in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. We are across the board bearish. I mean, we're going to get flips to bullish on the short term and intermediate and longer term. But for those signals to count to me, you need them to be established for 2+ days. So you technically need like a third. So you need 2+ days for that to matter. I mean, my hope would be that this is actually the signal that really matters, that this bullishness underneath, which is based on price action, if this is actually reflective of the fact that there is actually a better opportunity than I even realize, then I am very welcoming to that. But for right now, AMD, I can't trust those bullish signals no matter what I want to believe. We do have a falling bear in the rolling sentiment, which concerning, quite concerning, just like everything else that we talked about with AMD. I thought we were going to get a bottom here. I honestly thought that we were going to get a bottom here when we went from 41 to 37 back up to 44, but we were going to be at 43 when it comes to rolling bullishness. In terms of the rolling 10 days, we're going to be at 49% of the 23 days. I mean, we're still going negative even on the 2-day rolling average. That's super negative. We're almost bullish 3 full days in a row. That looks like we're going to lose that. Now, if we look at AMD in terms of a chart, obviously the concern was as soon as you broke down here in June and you had this breakdown, you were hoping that it was just to fill the gap, and then this move here that ended up being a failed breakout or a failed attempt at another breakout in the middle of July. We've essentially seen nothing but downward action since. The middle of July was the time to realize, and we should go back and just look at this. The middle of July was the time to really understand if things were going to change, and when things changed to know to get out. And you really would say like this was the period because you got a little. It was here. It was like the 19th because you see how we were bearish and then we got bullish, and that was the fake bullishness because that was what flipped us. That was what flipped us was this back here when we were in like when it was like 110, when it was 110 and 116. That's when it was lying to us, and then we hit a 117. It was been all downhill ever since. It's been all we have since that 117 on the, which is kind of weird if you think about it, but the first day of the month. You'd think it would have been on the last day of July instead of the first day of August. But it's maybe this is just people piling in, trying to catch up to things they thought was going to move. But since that 1st of August, it has been essentially downhill. It's been nothing but downhill. That right there, the next day we were rolling. On the 2nd, we were rolling 1 month negative return. 2 days in a row, it flipped positive for a couple of days here, and then it completely rolled negative. We haven't looked back ever since. We're looking at AMD. I mean, I think the overall sentiment doesn't look great, but it's not terrible if you're thinking that there's going to be a bullish setup in the future because you're around that 50% and you want to see that kind of like you prefer when it's jettisoning like from the bottom when it's only 37% bullish all the way back up to 64%. Like that's a good move you want to capture. We're at 50%, so there's still 15% upside, potentially 12% upside in terms of the bullishness that could come into the market based on that calculation, which I know you don't know, but regardless, but the super concern is that you're seeing volume come in when we're seeing price fall. Concerning statistics. Okay, we can see the volatility. The volatility doesn't look great. You can see it is breaking out while the correlation is obviously negative. Like I was saying, we were talking about the volatility breaking out. That's what it looks like. It is coming from. It was actually rolling down a little bit, and then it starts breaking out higher. I don't know where that could stop because when you get a move that's that aggressive, it could go here, it could go here, and high volatility and negative correlation, that is not good. Because the negative correlation means that the price is going to fall, and the volatility breaking out means it's going to fall aggressively. Like that's the concern. You want the volatility to roll over and then correlation to be negative because the two negatives are going to make a slight positive. But when we look even at the trade range, we're at the very bottom. We are pretty much riding the range. Now, if you look at what happened on NVIDIA, the NVIDIA range from the previous video, hopefully you go back and hopefully you watch that video today. It gives you a much different idea because NVIDIA bounces off the bottom of its range, where AMD is essentially right now at 101 at the bottom of its range. NVIDIA did that and then it's bounced all the way to the top essentially. And that's the type of move you're looking for and we'd hope for in AMD. We just don't necessarily see that it's going to happen anytime soon. Yeah, but tell me what you think about tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, subscribe to the New High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks to your inbox every single Sunday. Stocks between $5 and $20. Stocks breaking out to 52-week highs. Stocks breaking out to all-time highs. You'll love it. Go get yourself some. I'll talk to you soon.